My mom has been clean for 10 years now from a 21-year addiction. She would always tell me when I was younger that she wanted to write Oprah, and I didn't understand her. And she also told me this as she got clean. She was like, I'm still gonna write Oprah. And I had no understanding, and I understand now. And I wrote this poem to let her know that I do understand. She's sitting in the audience, so if you see her, congratulate her. Everybody please say her wish. There we go. Mama, remember when you said you wish you could write Oprah? I knew what you were saying. We had a moment on that sofa. I had the attention of a cobra in the presence of a charmer. I saw me as your crop. I saw you as my farmer. Every mother in this world believes their baby is a star, so they push them to pianos and they stick them with guitars. But Mom, you wanted Oprah, and I imagined with you that moment, thinking if I had the chance, my confidence would let me own it. You watched me overcome opponents even when you stood as one. I used to hate to pass you by out on the streets when I was young. When I was young, I took my writing and used that to save my life. I took a suicidal poem and wrote away from suicide. I know you'd love to contact Oprah. You are not the best of letters. At letters, I see you looking at the phone as if a call would be much better. You want the world to know your helper. You say the city's not enough, for there are folks who grab your ankles when they see you rising up. You say that if you contact Oprah, we get far, son, we get far. And I can't wait for you to show the world what soldiers do with scars, or what walkers do with cars, or what drivers do with planes. You let these people know your story if they never know your name. You show the world what you've been through, baby, and I'm gonna contact Oprah. I wanted this when you were young and wanted more now that you're older. You have more angels on your shoulder. I've been clean for many years. I used to walk the streets alone at night with dreams of being here. Had no idea of all the hurt I caused. I'm sorry for the strife. I'm overjoyed you took the pain and made yourself a better life. I ain't the best of writers writing, got no diploma from no school, but everything I never did, I feel I done it all through you. You best believe I'm gonna write Oprah. Might not spell my words correct, but she will understand my heart because that's all that I have left. I've been to jail and I've been back. I got some friends that's still on crack. I drive the streets I've walked, and that is proof that God will build from scratch. And I know just what you mean, Mama. Your journey made us closer. You don't forget the ride because you made it off the coaster. I wrote my story out on paper, now they put my face on posters. I show up at all my shows like, Mama, I can't wait to show us. We've had the very best of life. We have some chapters closing over in a book that'll save some lives, Mama, even if we don't reach Oprah. For 12 years, I worked as a longshoreman in Blunt Island. I worked on a ship. One of the ships was called the El Faro. I knew some of those people. I was watching the news hoping that things would be better, and I started writing in tears. I wrote this poem, and it remembered itself. It created itself. I was crying. The poem is called Evaporation. Everybody please say evaporation. Science tells us water drops will rise up to the sky. Clouds will form from that like teardrops waiting in the eyes of spirits prematurely raised from bodies prematurely stopped. I watched the news and turned away from news I couldn't watch. And my grandpa might have frowned if he'd known I cried like this. But I'm sure he'd understand I've not had friends that died like this. My heart has not been broke like this. They say that no one could survive. I watched my city pray for miracles that someone was alive. But as the Coast Guard searched the waters all the Coast Guard found. They say that judging from the hurricane that everyone had drowned. The news has faces I remember. They're posting faces I once knew. They found a body in the water but would not determine who, because that who was not enough when 32 were not accounted. There's no drills to lift your life when Mother Nature's got you grounded. Come out, you are surrounded. There's no running from the deep. You won't feel a thing tomorrow. You wake up to find you sleep. I have Danielle on my mind. We once joked about the faro. I saw her mother on TV and filled my cup of tea with sorrow. So much sweeter than my honey, always filled with smiles and laughter. I would load the deck with cargo. She would close the hatch right after. You don't understand disaster till you see it time and time. I told Danielle that I wrote poems, and now I write her in my rhymes. I always hated the El Faro. Now I hate it even more. It pulled my friends away in darkness, never brought them back to shore. Kidnapped 33 hard workers, pulled them down into the night. It's the triangle of angels with Bermuda to the right. May that lighthouse guide those spirits it's once stole. Shine its light into the darkness, bring some closure to our souls. We're left with nothing but that surface. Seas have calmed themselves once more. Rising water from the ocean lifts from spirits on the floor. Yes, those spirits on the floor release those tears that fill the clouds as we go outside to feel them once again when they come down. I wanted closure for this poem. Sometimes closure don't exist. I watched the Navy break my heart when they announced their search dismissed. May those families find peace. They've lost so much with no goodbyes, and may evaporation bring us back the things we lost in time. Round of applause if you're close to your grandparents, if you are a grandparent. Beautiful. My grandfather was everything to me. He raised me, and I always felt like he was a very, very great guy. But as I grew older, I found out he wasn't that great. He was a bad person. So I got a lot of stories about him, but one I will share with you. I remember not having friends when I was a kid, and no visitors, no friends. And I remember being at the house, and my grandfather ran in the house and said, "Hey, Rod, you got some friends at the door." I was so happy. I went and checked my face. I brushed my teeth really quick. I was excited, like I actually had a visitor. And I got outside, and it was a Jehovah's Witness. I'll never forget what he did to me. We used to eat at Cracker Barrel all the time. I take him for rides in my old school, and he loved it. And I noticed how he was eating recently, and it bothered me. He was eating sausage, eggs, biscuits, grits, sausage, eggs, biscuits. He was eating in a pattern. And I've noticed older folks will say something that doesn't make any sense and pass it off as wisdom. My grandfather was really good with that. It's because you can do that. I can't wait to get old so I can say something that makes no sense. It's like, I remember one time I didn't cut the yard, and he was like, "Hey, I told you to cut the yard. I don't chew my cabbage twice." What? So he was eating like that. I said, "Granddaddy, why are you eating like that?" He said, "Oh, every piece deserves a bite." What does that mean? 2014, I lost him. But I had a chance to let him know that he was my hero. This piece is called The Hero Sermon. Everybody please say The Hero Sermon. On this porch, I watch a flower lose its petals, face the sun, saying to it, "I'm still pushing. When you're ready, I will come." That's my grandpa there, that flower. He is not the who he was. He's been losing all his weight, and he's been forced to take these drugs. That's not him how I remember. He had muscles. He was strong. This getting old has gotten old, and he's been looking at the sun, seeing God in every gesture, speaking like it's time to go. He always says we never know while acting like his time is close. A shame that heroes must retire. Hurts how he don't use his cape. Lost his strength to change a tire. Shows he's tired in his face. He puts his shoes on really slowly, slides them into place with ease. Insert dagger in my heart to watch him slide away from me. Routine breakfast Sunday mornings. He still has his will to flirt. Makes the waitress smile and laugh enough to blush while she's at work. Eats his sausage, eggs, and biscuits all assembled in an order. Every piece deserves a bite, he says while sipping down his water. What a man he's been to me. The only father I remember. He brought home the bread and butter. Grandma changed it all to dinner. Man, I swear I love my heroes. Comic books ain't saved my life. When I think of hope and strength, I see a husband and his wife. I treat my grandpa like my father because he raised me like his son. Had a dad who wouldn't bother seeing who I would become. I watched my mama fight with drugs. They say you cannot choose your folks. Wouldn't change them if I could because they forced me into hope. Yes, I swear I love my heroes. Hate to lose them to the sky. And if you love your heroes too, you shouldn't wait to tell them why. You scream out, "Yeah, I love my heroes," even if they're here in spirit. Know that if you say it right, that you can feel that they can hear it. Grandpa, thank you for your life. I feel you'll never die to me. Watch you be the type of man most men would always try to be. Kept your hat cocked to the side, and that was always fly to me. I'll keep your teachings and your fight locked up tight inside of me. Sure, that flower loses petals when the rains are not enough, and the sun no longer shines, and the Lord seems fit to pluck, and my mind engulfs with memories of the rocking chairs and talks, and the park begins to cry as it will miss your morning walks, and I will tell you, job well done. Standing ovation is a must for the life God gave to you, which you divided amongst us. I will carry on your torch. I'll take your cape and make it new in hopes of learning from this porch how I can be a hero too. Sometimes we feel like God should show us something if we pray, and we got to see it sometimes. But this poem lets you know that there's a different way if you pay attention to everything, because a lot of times he answers, but we don't necessarily recognize the answers. This poem is called The Listener. Everybody please say The Listener. I know that God is listening to my prayer, so I pray that everything I do be something good in some way, that someone can be helped by something strong that I said, that people follow people from the people I led. I would draw in elementary. My mom was on drugs. I was ridiculed in middle school. My mom was on drugs. When I wrote back in high school, my mom was on drugs, and when I graduated college, my mom was on drugs. Now today I've been on tour, and my mom is at home shedding tears of inspiration as she listens to poems. Joy was just beyond the mountain. You can easily climb. I never gave up on my mama. We just needed some time. I lost my brother and my grandma, but I keep them within, and I donate to random charities in honor of them. Through my faith, embrace my struggle. Trouble needed a hug. I ain't never seen a fight I couldn't conquer with love. My friends were peddling drugs while I was peddling bikes. I tried to ride away from everything that ruined my life, and for that, I see the nation I'm known by people as odd. I swear that I can feel you hug me when I hear you applaud. So I know that God is listening. He's brought me this far. I got a motivating message. You can be who you are. I raise my hands to the sky and watch them turn into wings. Out of 50 billion prayers, he's responded to me. He got me preaching to you people. Look what's happening now. I'm a star in certain places, but I'm one with the crowd. So if you hear me, then you feel me, because I live what I write. That means I always recall. That makes me never recite. That makes my presence surreal. That makes my poems the truth. I'm represented by God. Meet us both at my booth, for I was blessed enough to make it here. May you be a witness that if God is never saying much, I'm proof. You're proof. We're proof that he listens.